I would be sad. He's been in my life for 17 years. I've watched him and been him growing up, becoming an older, more mature agent, and they live a sort of a tragic life in a way.
Curious how this movie and working on this film in particular has personally affected how you feel about the ongoing conversation about AI and how powerful it has the potential to become even in our own industry.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. When McHugh told me the idea for the adversary in this film, I was like, oh, that's great. That feels very Mission Impossible. It's kind of out there, but it's really, in keeping with Mission Impossible's kind of tech narrative. And then while we were making the film, suddenly this issue came to the forefront in such an accelerated way, to the point where now the film feels precedent. This doesn't feel like science fiction. This feels like a mirror up to nature, I feel like AI could be a fantastic thing. I think it could help us enormously in medicine, in space travel, in ecological preservation. It has no place in art. It just doesn't belong in art. Art is a human expression. It's a kind of interpretation of our emotions. Until it gets emotions of its own and it can paint its own pictures, stay out of art.
Well, I think what's so brilliant about this film is it really taps into the cultural consciousness and the zeitgeist of things on a global level that, we contend with. And it does that within the story, but also does it in terms of pushing its technological abilities. So, for example, when we see that incredible stunt, which is now the most dangerous stunt in movie history, of Tom motorcycling off a cliff, the cameras that were attached to the motorbike hadn't existed previously to the movie. They were invented for that specific stunt. So you get a sense up close that they're always on the cutting edge of movie making and what is possible.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously been talking a lot about it today. I think really what I think we all feel is that it's kind of remarkable that this movie was developed years ago and the idea was conceived years ago, but as it's coming out is when it's really part of the cultural conversation and global conversation, really. And I think the best movies feel so specific but so universal, and this is something that affects absolutely everybody in the whole world. And seeing as Tom and the crew are trying to save the whole world from it seems, more relevant than ever.
I look at this film and I enjoy the story that McHugh wrote, about the film and whatnot. And it's a wonderful journey to go on with him and his mastermind of crafting, his craftsmanship as a writer as well as a director. I think it's interesting that he's able to put everything together, because when we were filming it, it felt like discombobulated to us, but he saw the vision, and only a man like McHugh can do something like that.
We let the city tell us the kind of chase it was going to be. Traffic in the city is notorious, and the cobblestone streets make all of the driving unpredictable. Best part is Tom and Hayley, they're handcuffed together.
People are chasing us.
Yes, they are. You're driving.
We're not about obsessively executing a plan. We're about following the emotion of what it is we're playing with. So there was a lot of experimentation between Tom and Hayley, what their relationship was and how that relationship was supposed to evolve over the course of that sequence. On top of that, when you got to Rome with that car, which we then, and all the work we had done to increase its power, which made it very unpredictable. And you were very fortunate in that you had somebody like Tom Cruise behind the wheel, admittedly with one hand cuffed to somebody else. But Tom has so much experience shooting car chases that he was able to safely navigate all that.
Most of the car chase sequence, if you see us, we're in a two-shot, which is really, it's remarkable that we're able to do that. And it's, take 3 would have been great for you, but take 4 was great for that person, so they would have cut to singles. But if you notice, Tom and I are in a two-shot the whole time. And that's because of the work that we did together as a team of going, how do we stay present in the moment with each other, where we know each other's characters inside out, and we trust each other as actors to remain present, so that we neither of us drop the ball, so that I can react to anything that he is offering me and vice versa. And that is it's such a small thing, seemingly. Most people would never pick up on this, but to be able to achieve that in a 2-shot within the context of a car chase sequence is a huge, huge achievement technologically as well as creatively, and something I'm really proud of.
As intense as that sequence is, I got in that car for 5 minutes. I would never get in that car again. And my hat is off to Hayley Atwell for doing what she did in the passenger seat of that car and being able to maintain her composure and give the performance that she gave. And the fact that it's the two of them in 2 shots together doing physical comedy, which is difficult around a dining room table. They're doing it at 80 miles an hour in a tiny little car on cobblestone streets in Rome. You can't really appreciate just what an amazing performance those 2 actors are giving.
His fate is written. Shall we write yours too?
If anything happens to them, there's no place that I won't go to kill you. That is written.
I got the impression that the members of the team are expendable. And I'm curious if you would be okay with Benji one day getting iced in a Mission movie.
I think you're very right. And I think that's something that has always been the case, but no more sort of clear is it in these stories that we, as I think Luther says, we don't matter as much as the mission, and any one of us at any time could face the end. And if that happened, I'd be sad. He's been in my life for 17 years. I've watched him and been him growing up, becoming an older, more mature agent, and it's a kind of they live a sort of a tragic life in a way.
Simon, there's a scene where passports are getting tossed around from Hayley, and it made me realize just the number of places you've been able to go due to this franchise alone. What's the one that you had the best time spending time in that location?
That's a really hard question, because I look back on all those different locations and they're all a separate adventure, I mean, Going back to Morocco on Rogue Nation, the car chase in Morocco was enormous fun. But I think even back to Prague, my first location on Ghost Protocol, and then with the pandemic being the way it was when we were shooting this one, our time in Italy was incredible because we were all in these bubbles. We spent all our time with each other, the new cast members. We all bonded so quickly and so sort of intensely. Having Venice to ourselves, we were in Venice when it was virtually deserted, to the point where myself and Pom Klementieff went off and made a little short film called Au revoir, Chris Hemsworth. It's on YouTube, check it out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because we just had this beautiful Italian city to just have fun in. And we got shut down for 10 days because we had a COVID case in the crew. So, I mean, so many memories, so many stories. I'd bore you, I'd waste your time with it.
That's like asking me who's my favorite kid, you know what I mean?
You know which one's your favorite kid.
It's truly, each one truly offered something different. You know what I mean? You start in Norway, which I had never visited, and you start in a John Ford-esque landscape, you know what I mean, on top of a train, and you have McHugh saying profound things like, this is one of the top 3 days I've ever filmed, had the experience filming, and we're part of that. And Tom, lending, he's just a generous, so you start there, and then your car chases in Rome, foot chases in, then you're in the Middle East, you find yourself, it's, and then to end in London, like for us, it's as good as it gets. You know what I mean? You can imagine how good it is, and it's even better than that. Mm-hmm.